Hey everyone, it's been a great week to start out 2023, so let's get into it. So as I mentioned last week, we expected mortgage rates to get back on track this week, and they did. Mortgage rates dropped a decent amount this week. All the bond traders were back, and we had some economic reports that were a little bit helpful. Also some mixed signals in there, so I want to talk about that in just a little bit, but overall, great news on mortgage rates this week. So what's hot this week? Well, with the new year, it's goals. Let me rephrase that. It's goal setting. And many of you have New Year's resolutions, and maybe that's to get fit or eat healthier or whatever the case may be. And you know that you have to develop an actionable plan. It's not about the goal, it's about the little steps that you need to get there to obtain that goal. And buying a house is no different. And many people watching this are either thinking about buying a house, or you might have clients that want to buy a house. And we have to start with the little steps to get that going. And the first step is really just gathering information. You can watch videos on this channel to learn a little bit more, or you can reach out to us directly or your experienced real estate agent to learn more about the process, and we will walk you through each step of the way. So if your goal is to buy a house in 2023, let's make that happen. So what's not this week? Well, it has to do with some economic indicators that caused a little mixed reaction with the markets. And yes, the Fed, with some mixed messaging. And listen, I know I've given the Fed a hard time, but I want you to see some of the things that they're saying and quotes that they've had in interviews that causes the markets to react in odd ways.
Holding that until we get confidence that inflation is actually coming down is really not forecasting a recession, but I'm quite realistic. But we continue to see a very tight labor market. We continue to see persistence around inflation that I think is going to require our attention.
Now, she spoke in the very beginning about the Fed wanting a high confidence that inflation is decreasing. And there's been lots of indicators that it is, specifically the CPI and core CPI, which is one of the indicators that the Fed is very closely watching. And for the last several months, that has been showing decreases in inflation. And we're expecting another good report next week. Now, she also talks about at the end about having a tightening labor market. And that's one of those mixed messages that the stock market and bond markets really don't quite know how to interpret. Because on Thursday, we had a report that showed that there has been some job growth, specifically in hospitality sectors, things like that, which was such in high demand. So of course those sectors are still hiring. But then on Friday, we had wage growth, which showed some restriction, which the stock market, surged as a result. So the mixed messaging from the Fed about what they're looking for causes mixed reactions in the stock market, but again, some of this should just be common sense. The last thing I want to point out is she talks about how while they're not forecasting a recession, she does see an economic environment that could be susceptible to one, and again, looking for that tightening labor market, which is a recessionary type indicator. So this is another little bit of a mixed message that kind of makes you feel like this.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
We can handle the truth. Just say it like it is. We all know this isn't going to be a recession like we had in 08 and 09, and there's lots of reasons for that. I just like to have a little bit more transparency, and I think the markets would appreciate it too. So what's next? Well, we're seeing a little bit of post-holiday demand and activity. And boy, this week, folks have been putting in offers on houses. We've received lots of new applications for pre-approval. So activity is picking up. Seasonality, I would normally say would be slow this time of year, but things are really ramping up. And hopefully that's a great sign for the spring and summer markets. So thanks for watching, guys, and please remember, for quick pre-approvals and even answers on scenarios, my contact information is below. Please reach out anytime. We are here to support you.